I just want to welcome everyone here in the room and also all of our remote folks. I typically work remotely from Arizona. If any of you have heard of Fort Huachuca, I'm located about an hour west of there. And I'm very pleased to be working on site with the publications management team. I want to thank Mark for taking care of our cinematography today and to everyone for their technical support as we get familiar with the equipment. If anyone has a question while we're going through the presentation, I'm just going to ask that you state your name. That's not only helpful to me, but for those who are calling in, especially to know who's speaking. The other thing that's key is that only one person speaks at once. If you've ever been on the other end of one of these, you know what happens when more than one person speaks simultaneously. So if there aren't any other questions at this point, we'll get started and see how well I do with this mouse. Our first screen has our contact information. I'm always just a click away. I'm actually 2 time zones away, so if you want to call me, please remember that it's Mountain Standard Time, and don't call me when you get to the office at 7:30 because that would be way too early for me. So our first slide, why are we here today? And I've been waiting. This is like our 5th or 6th class, and so far no one has said, oh, because they made me come. But I hope everyone's here eager to learn and maybe refresh some skills you haven't used in a while or are ready to pick up some new ones. As Ms. Gibson mentioned, we had a request from Mr. Resta to cover some things that he'd been noticing in recent documents. And really this should be a refresher for most everyone because these concepts are not new. They've been around for a while. Ms. Gibson and I can attest to the origins of some of these, which go back to the Effective Writing for Army Leaders, which some of you may remember, DAPAM 600-67, which first put some of these concepts into regulatory form. So these are the things that we're going to be looking at today in terms of style. And our next slide shows some of the content considerations that we're going to be considering also. One of the things that Mr. Sheehy mentioned was to ensure that we have correlation between findings, conclusions, and recommendations, and that actionable information be included in documents that require it. So these are some of his thoughts on what to look for. I like to put the resources in the front of the presentation because usually when they're at the end, that's the last thing really anybody wants to see, so everyone's heading out the door, and I like to put them up front. So here's some of the resources we've used for the presentation and that you can also use in your writing in your daily tasks. The Federal Plain Language Act came out in 2010. The guidelines followed in March of 2011 and the revised guidelines in May of 2011. And most of our presentation has been drawn from those guidelines today. The GPO Style Manual, many of you probably have copies on your desks. That's our Bible small b for the government writing style. And all of these are available online at the links you see there. 2 weeks ago now, APD posted the new versions of Army Regulation 25-30 and DAPAM 25-40. The pub dates are 3 June for both of those. Also available at the APD website. And you'll hear us mentioning things from both of those publications today. Good old 25-50, Preparing and Managing Correspondence, is still our go-to guide for all things correspondence. We've also added the AMED Staff Officer's Guide and PHC Reg 25-30-2, which is currently under revision, as is the PHC Technical Report format. which some of you may use. Both of these will be made available to you. In fact, we will probably create some new training around those when they are available. Unfortunately, I can't give you a timeline today, but they're in the works, and we'll get them out to you just as soon as we can. Next is the key quote from the Plain Language Act that we are using as a guideline for all of our written communication: clear government communication that the public can understand and use. My focus on this particular quote is that we are gearing towards the public, more so possibly than we have in the past. And what this leads us to think is to think more about our audience. Who are we writing to? Who are we writing for? Are we using language that that organization will be familiar with, will understand? Will the reader be able to find the information in one reading? Or does the reader have to go and hunt for it? Or can we present it more clearly and concisely so that the person can understand it in one reading? So that's a good goal. And I think the next slide just basically repeats what I just said, so I won't read it to you. And these are some of our key issues with using plain language. Finding what they need when they, understanding it when they find it, and then using it to meet their needs. So what is plain language? These are some elements on the left that we will be looking at in detail on some slides coming up. And on the right, you have some things that it does not include. Getting started, we're going to identify the reader, focus, organize, and write for the reader. If you've read anything that's what we call cluttered, this means a couple of things: overuse of adjectives, adverbs, descriptive words, and also too much information on a page. And we'll talk about that a little more later. I see some heads nodding. That's good. So we're going to show you how to avoid that. We're going to talk a little bit about, actually a lot in a few slides, about the active voice versus passive voice. Sound familiar? Yes. Good. And acronyms, everybody's favorite topic. Don't invent or overuse acronyms. Now, we have a source, the RMDA, Records Management Declassification Agency. You know, that's a good example of one that most people know by the acronym, and I had to look it up to make sure. So we talked about that in an earlier session today. The RMDA website has the official list of acronyms. However, you may encounter acronyms in your publication that are not officially recognized. They're not on the site yet. There are a couple of options. Has anybody in the room dealt with that site or used it recently? You can submit acronyms to add to the site. Now, if you're trying to get a report out and you've got it all the way to signature and there's an acronym that's holding it up, this is not a good thing. So what we advise you to do then is simply put a little section in your glossary for special terms. You can include that acronym and its definition, and then you can include it in your document and in your glossary, and the next time you publish, after it's been accepted, it'll be recognized. So this really comes into play with DA level pubs, so you don't have to be concerned if it's a PHC level pub. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm Lauren Grattan with HPW. If we've already defined an abbreviation, maybe it's an acronym early in the document, is it still true that we shouldn't use it if it's not identified with records management declassification?
You can use it. You just want to put in the back of your document with your glossary, put a section for special terms and identify it there. You bet. Someone asked in our session earlier today, well, what about acronyms that everybody knows? Why can't I just use the acronym? And the answer to that is because we said so. No, I'm kidding. The regulation is what says so. And that is that we write it out the first time, put it in parentheses, and then off we go. So even though there are some that, you know, looking around the room, I see all kinds of experience out there, and I know there are quite a few that we all know that we would love to just use by themselves, but the rule of thumb, well, the rule is we're going to write it out that first time. One thing you can avoid doing is once you, if you have one, if you have one that has an acronym, but you're not going to use the acronym, in other words, you're only using that term once, then you do not need to include the acronym. And that's the only exception. Any questions? Yes, thank you.
The other point with the
Joyce, you need to use the mic when you speak too.
Sorry. Hi, this is Joyce Woods from Publications Management. The other issue is that you prepared the document and your audience may, okay, so it's going to go to your customer, but there may be other people that come in later that are doing some type of a research that may not be familiar with the abbreviations and or even the jargon that your particular subject matter is in. So that's why it's important. Things that we do day to day are easy to us because we know it and we do it, but it may not be so easy for other folks in the future. So that was the other point that I just wanted to make.
Thank you, Joyce. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am, about acronyms.
Hello, my name is Farinaz Firuzi. I'm with the Public Health Assessment Program. In cases where you introduce an acronym, but just the idea of using acronyms ad nauseum in a paper sounds kind of ugly, is it possible or acceptable or preferred to use like what the entity is? For example, if we are talking about the Public Health Center, later on in that sentence or in future sentences, you refer to the center, the center, the center, as long as it's not being confused with another center or the university or the,
I think that would be fine unless, as long as, like you said, it's not being confused with something else. I think that would be fine. Yes. Good questions. Anyone else before we go on? If you look in your packets on page 10, and we're on slide 10, we have some examples to share with you. And some of these, we like to make our presentations portfolio specific or program specific. So we've added some that we actually have drawn from recent, fairly recent HPW pubs. However, we do not include any names. We always say the names have been removed to protect the guilty. So if you recognize something, don't let on. We don't know who wrote them. It's all anonymous. So what we're looking at is the fourth bullet on the screen, which is avoid using it is and there are constructions. These add wordiness to your sentences, and they're just not necessary. Sometimes they can be, but in these examples, you'll see what I mean. If you look at the first one, there were several changes submitted during the recent review of the project. Well, several changes were submitted, or the panel submitted several changes. One of those identifies who submitted the changes. If that's important, you can include it. The other one does not, which is an acceptable use of passive voice, which we'll talk about more in just a minute. In the second example, there are some noteworthy limitations to this report, etc. And it can be revised to read the following limitations to the report are inherent, etc. Do you see the difference? It's fewer words, it's a little more direct and a little more straightforward. Same with example 3. There were a handful of focus groups that discussed, etc. You can say a handful of focus groups discussed. And there you have the direct subject-verb pattern there. And then we have a wordy example also that we just threw in for fun to see what people might want to do with it. We have corrected it, but we just want to leave there for you as a little brain teaser, so, of what not to do. Why would it be important to create a reader-friendly format in terms of thinking about our audience, which we mentioned earlier?
Continuity.
Continuity, good. When you think about your audience and your goal of wanting them to be able to read and understand your document in one reading, these are some ways that we can do that. One of the things we'll talk about in detail coming up are using bullets, tables, and figures. Headings and subheadings can sometimes be a bone of contention because people tend to think that 4, 5, 6, 7 levels of numbering paragraphs is acceptable when really the regulation actually states there will be 3. We will accept 4 because sometimes a level of detail in certain types of scientific writing just requires that. And so we have some flexibility there. But we really want to watch it as beyond that. Then there's probably a different way that you can organize that material. I'm going to go down to our last bullet, which talks about writing in capital letters. Anybody ever receive an email written in all caps with like 6 exclamation points? And what's your reaction when you see something like that in your inbox? You yell, you're being yelled at. Or you're saying, whoa, what's this? Somebody's really upset about something. So we want to try and avoid that if we can. And I mentioned email as an example, but it actually has the reverse effect of maybe what the writer intended. Getting your attention. You just don't want to see that. You just want to step back from it. So although we have headings that are in all caps, there are other elements of what we write that are in all caps. But your day-to-day communication need not be in all capital letters. Even if you are especially if you are feeling a little unfriendly toward the recipient, because the written form is the most difficult form to communicate. We don't have the body language, we don't have the advantage of having the person right in front of us, such as with our remote participants today. I can't see if they're snoring or sleeping or whatever, but so far everybody in the room's awake, so that's good. Organizing ideas, again, these are some basic things that you probably have seen before, just we would like to refresh your memory about them. And the one I always like to ask about is anyone familiar with the expression spaghetti on the wall? We had one person who gave us a good definition last time. We have one back there in the back?
My favorite is Jell-O on the wall, but so something is, you try to put it against the wall and nothing sticks. So it's all over the place.
Right, it's all over the place. And this is something you want to avoid in your writing. You don't want to have so much information on the page that the reader doesn't know where to look, how it's organized, what he or she should look at first, and it's going to be confusing and not get your point across. So, very good. And last but not least on this slide is to review and delete unnecessary material. It's always good to read your own material, but it's even better to have someone else, and I can attest to the fact that since we've been working on this presentation for about a month or two, yesterday we were adding material for today's session, and I asked Joyce to sit in with me so that I had another pair of eyes, and she caught several things that would have been errors on the screen had we not collaborated. So find a trusted colleague and someone that writes well or whose writing you respect, and ask that person, hey, I'd just like another pair of eyes to see this before it goes forward. And you may discover some things that, because you're so familiar with the material, that you may have missed. And I'm going to assume that you also have a peer review system in place for publications. Most organizations do. so that your content is also reviewed before it comes over to us for editing. The thing to remember about tables is that we put the table title above the table in PHC pubs, and we need a lead-in sentence to introduce the table. Now, sometimes I've had people say, well, you know, the table title tells them what's in the table. It's right there. Yes and no. It can vary. I've seen lead-ins that do not match the table, and you really want to avoid that. But the table title may not always be as descriptive as the material you can include in your lead-in sentence. So make sure it's accurate and it describes what's in that table. Tables can be more than one page. Sometimes data results tables can go on for a whole appendix. I had one recently that was about 5 pages. And what you can do there is use Word to help you set up so that your heading can repeat across the top of each page. And for things like this, please feel free to give us a call over in PMD, because this is what we do, and we don't want you to take up your valuable time trying to figure out how to get a table to split a certain way or not split a certain way. Things like that are the tools we use every day, so feel free to call on us or email us. I had a gentleman yesterday who couldn't figure out why the page numbers in his appendix wouldn't do what he wanted them to do. I just went in and fixed it for him, sent it back. Took me less than 5 minutes. So if you get in a jam, don't get stressed. Just let us know, because that's what we're here for. A little more about lists. If you look at these bullets, if this were not a list, how long do you think that sentence would be? Maybe 6 lines or so. So you want to use lists whenever you have a lot of items that can be better understood if they're broken out. Another thing we talk about here is using parallel construction within the list. We're not spending a whole lot of time on grammar today, but one thing we do like to mention is that all of these are verbs. You want to start those elements with the same type of construction. So these are all verbs: highlight, clarify, and so forth. You wouldn't want to throw, for example, a complete sentence in the middle of a list. Here's a good example. On the left, we have a sentence. This came from a recent document. I don't think it was an HPW document. But on the right, you can see how it's much easier to spot the information, comprehend the information when the items are in a list. Any questions there? Okay, now we have our HPW example. How many sentences we're on slide 16? How many sentences do you see in this original? I see 1, okay. And you see a whole lot going on in this sentence, don't you? If you read it through to the end, there's quite a lot going on in there. So we took it apart. And it's still a lot of information. There's a lot of information in the sentence, but it's been organized in a way that you can comprehend it a lot faster, a lot easier. It's a lot more clear. Any questions? Yes, ma'am, in the back.
Hi, I'm Laura Copper from Health Promotion Wellness. I have a question about your examples where you transform long sentences into bullets. Are you suggesting that bullets are acceptable in military format?
Well, let me take the first part of what you said. Long sentences into bullets,
bulletized lists.
Right, elements, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and so you're asking actually about the bullet, the actual dot itself, or the use of the bulleted list?
The use of a bulleted list in military format writing.
Yes. Yes, you may.
And that's in the correspondence reg?
No. That would be in the PAM, or in the,
25-40, and DAPM 25-40,
okay.
which is our publishing program procedures. It does talk about using lists.
Okay, I'm going to go back and read it.
Okay.
I'm going to ask Joyce to elaborate on the point you made earlier today, which was about using the ABC 1, 2, 3 and the paragraph numbering.
So, as Anna said before, what we're working on revising is the PHC reg that talks about how to prepare documents for in the organization and their tech report format. Now, if you go to the ANSI standards, if you go to the military standards, okay, they say that you will use all numbers, okay. The ANSI standards does say that you can use bulleted lists, okay. However, there are some people that maybe their customer has a specific need to refer back to a particular section, or whether it's in that report itself and you're on page 78 and you want to refer back to a paragraph 2.1 or whatever. They have that need to identify each and every paragraph. Some people have asked about using a different numbering scheme. And as I was reviewing the 2530 and DAPAM 25-40 this week, which it's about this thick, the 25-40, so it definitely is not correspondence. So in your correspondence reg, the format is using numbers and alphas. Well, lo and behold, I'm sitting there and I'm reading the 25-40, and how is it numbered? It's numbered with 1-1 and then an A and then a 1 in parentheses and an A in parentheses. And I'm like, wow, look at this. You know, they give out specific guidance, but yet they've used another format. So that's what our office is looking at. We're talking to different portfolios. We're seeing who your customers are, what type of products you're publishing, what your customer needs are, and to try to come up with a few examples and then stay in with an organizational identity, because that again is important to the command. So if you saw a PHC product up on somebody's shelf, say you were visiting somebody at the EPA, it would be identifiable. So we're looking for things that would be conform across the command, but then we're also taking a look in how we can present you with a couple of examples or selections to write your publications.
All right, thank you, Joyce. Yeah, good questions. Anyone else before we go on? Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at our figure example. The only thing that I really want to point out here is that the figure title goes beneath the figure, whereas the table title went above the table. And again, always have a lead-in sentence to introduce your figure. Choosing your words carefully. This is a little bit about vocabulary, and the key thing that I'm going to spend a little time on is the third bullet, eliminating shall from your writing. Now, this has to do primarily with the DA level publications. And what the guidance now is telling us is that shall is not to be used, but we will use will. These are in your notes on slide page 19. Use will to indicate required action. Must for, will for future required action. Must for required action or obligation, may or can for optional actions, and should for recommendations. Now you'll see another little note in brackets, because the bracketed item is not in the federal plain language guidelines. In looking through the DAPAM, as Ms. Wood said, we've been going through the new reg and PAM this past week, 2 weeks since it came out. And what we've noticed is a combination of using in accordance with and according to. And what I noticed in the PAM is that in accordance with is not identified with an acronym, IAW. In each instance throughout the publication, the words are written out. So that's a change. And then in certain instances, the phrase according to is used as opposed to in accordance with. So although we don't see a hard and fast rule on that, we see the style change happening within the publication, the regulation itself. So that's something I just wanted to point out so that you can be aware of it, that both of those are in use and they're acceptable. Now with certain types of writing, you won't have that leeway. And as someone in a previous session mentioned, you're talking about certain standards or adhering to certain requirements. The language is going to be in accordance with. It definitely depends on what you're writing, what your customer expects, and what you're quoting if you're citing certain references. So just keep that in mind that we do have both of those in use currently. This is one of our favorite examples because we're on slide 20, and everything on the left, all of those famous phrases, to those of us who've been around the Army for a while, they all mean the same thing. They all mean because. And on the right, we also have some other popular / infamous phrases that can be replaced by one word. So my motto is don't use a few if one will do. And I think everybody in the room and probably everybody who's dialed in has seen overuse of some of these. Yes, ma'am. Farina.
Can you use the word as instead of because?
Yes, and someone asked me about since too the other day, so good question. Yes. What you want to do is like you mentioned earlier about using things but not confusing the reader. I wouldn't use as too often. I wouldn't use since too often. I recommend that we mix them up. Very good. Why is tone important? Well, it really depends again on your audience. If you're writing correspondence, if you're writing a policy memo, if you're writing a technical report, the tone is going to differ. It may, or it may differ, it may not. But what we want to keep in mind is it's going to project your attitude toward the reader. It'll reflect your attitude about the content and influence how your message is received. Remember earlier we talked about the email with all caps and 6 exclamation points. That's a good example of a tone issue. So how do we go about establishing tone? These are some of the ideas. And again, you see, use the active voice. So you're probably wondering, she keeps talking about that, but she hasn't really gotten to it yet. Well, it's coming up. Don't confound your reader with unfamiliar acronyms and abbreviations. Write them out. You've heard us say that already today. So just some key things that are going to help establish a user-friendly format. Okay, here we go. Active versus passive voice. AR 2550 gives us this information. Why do we need to use the active voice? Again, this concept is not new. It's been around for quite a while. Active voice emphasizes the actor of the sentence, who's performing the action. It shows us who or what's performing the action and putting that actor ahead of the verb, and it creates shorter sentences. Now this is a very basic example. The test was passed by Sergeant Jones. Okay, who's doing the action there?
The test.
What's the test doing?
Passing.
It's being passed, right? Very good. So who's doing that action?
Sergeant Jones.
Actually, Sergeant Jones is doing the action. So we want to put the actor, or we used to call it the doer, in front of the verb. Okay? Now, moving on from that, we're going to take this verb construction apart a little bit. And this is about the extent of the grammar 101 that we'll have today. Your leave was approved by the personnel director. We have what we call a helping verb or a linking verb, and the past participle approved. Who did the action? The personnel director actually approved the leave, or your leave has been approved. Do you all know who approves your leave when you put in a leave request? I mean, just in general, yes, you know who it is. You don't have to go looking for somebody. So if the person who's performing the action is not really relevant or important to the sentence, you can use passive voice. And you'll find, we'll talk about this a little bit more, because in scientific writing, it's very common and it's not a problem. It's not always necessary to indicate who or what is performing the action. Or it could be completely unknown, as you'll see. So this came from a recent HPW pub, and we've just turned it around to say, because the participant is the one doing the describing, and the reason you see a colon there is this was a lead-in for a quote. And so that it's not a complete sentence here. We just pulled out the key part that we wanted to use. A participant described an example of progressive goal setting. So again, the doer is before the verb. And here are some acceptable uses. I know some of you may have heard that, you know, we never say never in Army writing. We'd like to, but this is one area where we do have a little flexibility. And that is scientific writing, because you're going to need to use passive voice at times. If you look at this example, pollution caused by the chemical was suggested by the data. Now, if we put a doer in there and say, we believe the chemical caused the pollution, we've made it active, but in this case, it implies an opinion. And then there's that personal pronoun, we. And then we go to the objectively active solution, which is what's actually happening here is that the data suggests the chemical caused the pollution. So you've got your facts clearly and concisely stated in that sentence. There's no wiggle room, and you've got the data to support what you're saying, so that's what you need to say. So much more clear and what we call objectively active, no room for opinion in this type of writing. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I've had suggested that that following way anthropomorphizes data.
Yes, and I've had that question come up, so thank you. In other words, data cannot physically suggest something like, I can suggest to you that we go out to dinner after class. And that's true, but we do not, we don't really quibble with that. Unless it was something really egregiously obvious, like you were trying to animate something that really couldn't be animated. But this, you'll see this kind of thing a lot in scientific writing. We don't have a problem with that. And here's another question.
Just a really quick one. Which one then do you prefer with scientific writing?
The objectively active. Because some of you may have seen, you know, it's like when, I think the example we've been using has been the environmental baseline survey. You know, there's a team out there doing a survey. It could be one person, but say, you know, it's a team. You don't want to see we did this, we collected the samples, we analyzed the data, we did that, we all through the report. We don't need that, because you know it's been established in the beginning who's performing that action, who went out and did the sampling or whatever that action may have been. So that way we can eliminate the personal pronouns and go with the objectively active. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Another time that we will see passive voice is in professional journal articles. And they are a whole different animal. If any of you have written those, you know that you're writing for the audience of that particular publication. So you're writing for that journal's audience. You may also have to use a style that's prescribed by that journal, and that includes reference formatting, all kinds of things. And that's where we come in. We edit all kinds of professional journal articles, and we know APA style, AMA style. We had a recent publication that was in the Vancouver style, so if you have any questions about those aspects, also feel free to call us or email us, because we've probably seen them all. So what we have here are some acceptable uses of passive voice that we have seen in journal articles. And you can see that if you're just stating that test results must be interpreted to determine a response, we don't need to identify who's going to interpret. You're saying this is what you have to do. We have some examples from an environmental baseline survey. An office and a machine shop have been added. Well, yes, that's passive. Who added the office and the machine shop? That's not important. That's not a key piece of information. The key information is that since we surveyed this the last time, or perhaps, it's been a few years, now we have 2 more buildings to consider that have been built on this street, something along those lines. So while we encourage you to use active voice when you can, we also acknowledge that there are perfectly acceptable uses in scientific writing. The quick tips on page 27 just give you the key nuggets of eliminating passive voice and acceptable use. So you have a quick reference you can turn to there. Now, having said all that, we have one more little bit of grammar to share with you today. So we've got all our passive and active identified, and we think we've got them all fixed, and Word is putting squiggly green lines under something that does not appear to be passive. And that is something we call a predicate adjective. And there's no quiz after this, so you don't have to remember this terminology. I just want you to be able to recognize this construction, because Word will identify it as passive voice. When you say the after action report is enclosed, the word enclosed is describing the report. Here, the shop is located on the property. Located is telling you something about the shop, where it is. These are called predicate adjectives because they are descriptive words in the predicate or the verb construction of the sentence. They are not passive voice. So I just wanted to put that slide in there for you so that you know you can't always trust Word to identify everything correctly. This is one that we see a lot. And so we just wanted to make you aware of that. Now, this one you would think is a no-brainer because we do have spell check. But again, you can't always trust spell check. So, but it is a good tool because what we want to do is keep from distracting our reader with spelling mistakes and detracting from the message. And we had a good example about this from Mr. Resta himself because of a spelling error that popped up in something he was reading on the first page that led him then to be distracted and wonder, well, now I'm going to have to read the whole thing because there could be other things wrong with it, as opposed to, I've read the cover letter, everything's good, I'm going to sign this and move on. So you don't want to hold up any publication for something as basic as spelling mistakes. We also have research and thesaurus tools to use. And for another thing for spelling errors, there are a lot of terms, scientific terms in particular, chemical names and so on, that the word dictionary that's built into our systems is not going to, they're not going to be recognized. So what you can do is right-click on that word, click Add to Dictionary, and it is in there, and it'll be in there for your next document as well. Everybody familiar with that? Anybody use that tool? Especially if you're dealing with references, as we do with journal articles, authors' names. Not everyone's name is going to be recognized. Mine certainly wouldn't be. So, in fact, it isn't. Everything I write, my name's underlined. So just do that right click and add it to your dictionary. This is also true for verb constructions. I think we have an example in the packet with too many nouns. Yes, I may have skipped over that. It'll say too many nouns or consider revising and so forth. And your sentence may be perfectly fine. You can also right click on it and click ignore rule or ignore this instance, and it will take care of it for that document. It will not save it for the next time, but it will eliminate it for that document. So I think we have about 2.5 minutes to spare, and I thank you for hanging in there with us as we had some technical difficulties getting started, but it was our goal to finish up by 1600. These are the key points that we said we were going to discuss, and I do believe we've gotten to all of them. But does anyone have a question? If we went too fast and would like to back up and revisit something, let us know. Okay, well, I just want to thank everyone for their time today, especially at the end of the day when it might be a little harder to be enthusiastic about sitting in a class. But we're really pleased with the turnout, and we thank you for inviting us. Our main number over in PMD is the 3254 number. If you can't reach one of us individually, you can always call that number and leave a message. And we have also some acknowledgments that this was definitely a team effort on our part. We had some great support.